This is The Goode Show.
Welcome to this week's episode. My name's Surinder. I'm your host, and this is The Goode Show. And today we are on location again at 0800. And if you haven't heard of 0800 and you live in San Diego, where have you been? You know, I'm sitting here with the wonderful Ashley Camac. Thank you for allowing us to come down today.
Yeah, no, thank you for hosting us.
I mean, now that we've spent 20 minutes trying to figure out the lights and everything.
You know what? That's work. That happens.
Now, first of all, I want to say I'm incredibly privileged to interview you because you are a senior enlisted spouse.
I am.
And that is something that I'm always very proud of. And I don't think there's enough of us out there.
Yeah.
So this is,
It does feel like we get caught up sometimes in the senior officer world.
Yes.
Especially in the leadership side of the nonprofit VSO space.
Yes.
So I think it is underrepresented just a bit.
I think it's very much underrepresented. But talking about representation and how things are put forward, let's go back to a little bit of background about yourself. Your husband, how many years did he serve?
23 and a half.
23 and a half.
Yeah.
And he's retired now?
He is retired.
Okay.
Thankfully. I was like, why did we wait this long?
I know.
I think we all say that.
But time goes by real quick, though, doesn't
It
it, sometimes?
It really does.
Let me ask you your reason for starting this entity. What was it that happened, or what did you notice that, this is not happening?
I think fun fact, so 0800 was established by the community. So I can't take the credit, not my baby necessarily, but I think the last 5 years of me being here, I've definitely strengthened what we do and really organized what we do so that there's direct impact that's structured. But the community came together. I mean, everybody from the current admirals at the time in the region to generals on the Marine Corps side, the Coast Guard was very involved from the sector. The political landscape was involved, the community members, philanthropy, foundations, everybody was kind of putting their heads around what do we do in the community that could complement what the military can't do any longer once we take them through TAPS and such. And that's how this model was created. So I'm very proud that I'm here as the CEO now, but I think it's a testament to the entire community stepping up saying, hey, we know we could do better through a structured model with case management, social work services. So let's put our heads together. Let's get really smart people in a room. Let's talk to the active duty side to say, what can we do? And really put it to paper. And we have not mission drifted. We have always been a case management social work service, but we've strengthened our approach by continuing our efforts with the active duty to understand changes and needs. But community built this. So I think that's like the coolest thing.
Yes,
There's
absolutely.
Probably like 200, I think to 250 people I've counted in old records to be able to say like who was involved.
Yes.
So I think like 200 of our closest friends and, fans built this, and I'm grateful to them.
Now, when you came on board, when you got involved in this, and this is something I want to talk to you about today. As a nonprofit, there has to be a board in place.
Yeah.
So I know there's, I sit on a couple of boards, you sit on a couple of boards, and you've just started sitting on YSR.
So the 365 Connect program.
Yes.
With Teresa Miller.
Yeah, YSR is her latest program. That's why it's stuck in my head. So I want to talk to you about boards because I always hear about people. They're setting up a nonprofit. They're looking to put a board together. And some of the boards that I sit on, quite honestly, I look at them and I go, okay, what happened here? Do you know what I mean? So when you started, did you put the board together for this?
No.
Okay.
No.
So the board was in existence.
Yes.
And what's important? How do you form a board?
I think first, you have to look at the size of the agency. I get a lot of people who come to me and say, hey, I'm going to start a nonprofit. And through that, it's like, okay, well, how many people are a part of this nonprofit? What's your mission? What problem are you solving in the community? Because it's very easy to think, hey, I'm going to start something because I think there's a gap, but is there an actual gap? Should we be a program partnering with somebody? But once you get to a space where you're like, you know what, we're moving into a 501c3 status, like what are the dynamics of that board?
Yes.
It's so important. So for me, when I came here, first thing I noticed about the board was it was a lot of helicopter pilots retired. And I was like, that must be intentional, because I think actively we go around and we say, maybe you should be on my board. Would you consider being on my board? And we tend to get our friends and, you know, fellow professionals that we work with in the community. So maybe it just looked a certain way for that moment, but it certainly was reflective of military.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, there's nothing wrong with this. How do we like scale it back a little bit and really represent the people that we're serving? How do we represent what those people are looking to achieve? So I always look at boards like, you know, take the approach of community and industry you want to be connected to for the client's sake, right? So whoever you're serving, how can you best serve them? If you connect in a broad way in the community through boards, then you're represented throughout the community in a broader way.
Yes.
So the return's going to be better. So really taking a deep dive in what sectors are connected in. And at that moment, I was like, hey, I'm not saying anybody has to go. And we had some open spaces. And we really took a look at saying, all right, well, if we have enough helicopter pilots, we're not going to go seek those out, right? But let's maybe get a jet pilot.
Yeah.
Maybe let's not get another pilot.
Yes.
And so at that moment, it was having somebody at a foundation that was not military. It was having somebody in a staffing, you know, HR, you know, kind of like program. It was having some military that were prior service that were the helicopter pilots and such. We had a jet pilot, so it balanced out a bit. It was like, is the surface fleet, you know, reflective? Do we have anybody from the Marine Corps? Do we have anybody from the Coast Guard? How many people do we want reflective on military? How many people do we want in healthcare, social work, since that's what we do, workforce development, biotech?
Why do you think that those areas, or why was that not thought of before? Because I've sat on a couple of boards where I personally feel that great people served 30 odd years, but I feel that there's an element of conditioning with them that that they see it, they don't have much peripheral vision.
Yeah.
You know, and some of them have never actually operated outside of the military. So,
well, I think first and foremost, anybody who sits on a board, myself included, I have to know that I'm financially responsible, right? At the end of the day, if the very least you're reviewing the 990, right? But you are the one that's helping that leader, that CEO, that executive director be as successful as they can be for their team. The weight of the world is going to feel on the shoulders of the CEO, right? They are every department in a lot of these agencies. They are running at 100 miles an hour all the time. But at the end of the day, the livelihood of their team is on their shoulders. How do we pay them? Make sure they have benefits, all comparable things that are out there for other industries they could be in. So we hold that responsibility. So bringing in board members who understand this is serious work. We want to make sure the mission is as strong as possible. So getting board members who want to be connected to strengthening the program that you're doing, the mission you're doing, fantastic. Getting board members who represent the financial side, maybe a retired CPA or nonprofit financial management person, because they're going to understand your tax returns and your budgets and all of the things you need to do to be sustainable in the financial side. But then looking at the rest of the board as what is their experience that they're bringing and what things are you trying to accomplish? And that board should be super reflective of that with the ultimate understanding that they're responsible.
What do you think are the key roles that every nonprofit board should have from like day one? What are the key roles?
Well, I think, we can look at the very basics and say, like, we need to have, somebody who's the leader and the chair and the president, or somebody who is financial and a secretary. But I think it goes so much broader than that. I think you want to have a collective amount of people with an uneven number so that you're never getting into a voting situation where
That's a
it's
good
even
point.
and you're at a standpoint.
Yeah.
But you want to have people that are, I think, financially respective of the mission. Then you have people that are programmatic so that they understand why you're doing the mission. Because not everybody's going to understand everybody's role on the board. But if you put those individuals to work in the spaces they're experts at, your mission's going to thrive. And really, the boards are not there to be the working people, right? I mean, if you're starting off small and you got to build it up, we've all been on boards where we're doing it all.
Yeah.
Many years ago, I feel like I'm 110. I started the Chief Spouse Association in San Diego. That turned into a 501c3, and it was the grittiest work you could do. I mean, we were doing anything to get our name out there. The spouses were performing. They were like, hey, we'll show up wherever. We'll do fundraisers. I mean, we would have done anything from car washes on, right? But when you start to get to another level where, you have a space, you have staff, you have a structure, there's a very purposeful, directive mission that's happening. You really don't want the board to be doing that. You want them to move the brand. You want them to move the finances. I think there's a missed feature in a lot of board members not understanding that they're fundraisers. I was going to
say, yeah.
Because I look at everybody as a fundraiser.
Yes.
Even if your intent is not to go out and just say, Surrender, I know you have a podcast and like maybe you have some funds. Could you sponsor something, right? Which is so wonderful that you can do. But that's not what we mean. It's helping with the fundraising. Yes. It's the introduction to somebody at a chamber. It's the introduction to an LOI for a grant application. It's them staying up at night or in their respective business during the day and seeing an opportunity and saying, hey, are you aware of this? And I think the senior people that agency can help you track what your give or get is, and I think if you go into boards with the idea that you're here to give, you're here to get, you're here to help move the mission, then you're doing the right things. Right? Because I think generally we all want to give back and do the right things when we're on these boards. But we don't want to do the job of the people in there because we don't want to step on their toes.
Yeah.
Right? They're probably experts in their own right. I would never want to step on the toes of my program director.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
They know what they're doing here. I wouldn't want the board to do that either. But I'd love for them to complement what that person does by knowing what they need to be successful.
See, I find that there's there is a big misconception about boards, and I find that some people are sitting on boards because it looks great on their resume.
Yeah.
But they don't understand fully that, to have a seat at the table, we're looking for particular skill sets that will help the entity grow. And like you said, be out there branding and stuff like that. What skills do you think are most commonly not there, missing from nonprofit boards?
Well, I think you look at their tangible skills and you can connect into that matrix of what you're looking to fulfill on your board so that you collectively have a diverse board. We also need to diversify boards in the sense of ethnicity, profession, experience, locality. We can't just all get boards that, live in La Jolla.
Yeah.
Right? That just, that might sound great, but does it fit the entire matrix? Right. Yeah. But then some of the skills that I think often are missed is that you can be, you really, number one, I think any board member should be an absolute listening ear to the executive.
Yes.
Right. It is lonely at the top. If you're running a functional nonprofit, then your executive is not going downstream with their team to talk about all the things that might not be working. Right. Yes. So you want to have that sounding board with your board members and have these individual relationships with the executive director to be able to, confide in them or tap into their expertise. The dynamics on the 0800 board, we have a tech person who's in IT. We have an HR person. We have a retired CPA that's coming in. if I need something in those sectors, I can say, hey, like, I don't understand this tech stuff. Like, you're an expert in that field. Let me tap into your brain. Or I need an HR kind of question, even though, we have an HR department. But like, I can tap into them. I can be a sounding board. Or just when things just don't seem great, I'm like, can you hear what I have going on? It's a little bit of a struggle this week. I think that's a missed skill and feature, knowing that you're there to support that person.
Yes.
Right. But I think the tangible skill sets that people are looking for is like, what is your expertise and how does it apply back into the mission?
The other thing that I've heard out there, and it's been surprising to me, but let me get your opinion on it, is that a lot of people think that if you sit on a board, however that board is formed, your executive director, all your board members, that these are positions that are volunteer only from the executive director downwards. Now, I disagree with that. I think somewhere along the line, maybe your executive director, your CEO, somebody is getting paid. And I'm not saying they're getting paid a lot of money, right? But somebody has to be paid to kind of like run it. And then you have another arm underneath that is the board that brings stuff to you. And then there's maybe an advisory committee on the side as well. But do you think that, I know of executive directors that get paid, not a lot of money.
Right.
Nobody's making money in the nonprofit, arena, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I've heard people saying, "Oh, no, nobody should be getting paid." What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it depends on the size of the agency, right? The budget definitely should match, the salary of that executive if that's happening. Because this is a full regular job, right? We pay our staff here. They have comparable benefits to corporate world. They have structure and hours and responsibility. So I think the nonprofit sector is one of the largest in the nation, right? And we are paying our individuals. When it comes from a board perspective, I think what works best, this is just an opinion. Anybody listening, don't shoot the opinion here, but I think it works best when you have an executive and staff, and then you have a structure of a board where there's a chair and then there's the rest of the positions, and that none of them are paid, that those are volunteer. I think that's governing what's happening here.
Yes.
And that's not mismanaging what's happening here, because ultimately, I tell my board every single week, multiple times to whoever's talking to me that week, I'm like, well, what do you think? And they're like, well, what do you think? I'm like, well, you're my boss.
Yeah.
Right. And even though collectively they're my boss, like it's not just one person.
Yes.
Right. It's like, I want to make sure that they're aware of high level things going on for awareness, but also outside of being a sounding board, I want your opinion.
Yes.
Because I want your investment here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I want to know that we did this together. So everybody who served on this board in the last 5 years that I've been here, like, it's been all of us making these decisions, right? It's not just Ashley makes all the decisions and Ashley's the only person that does things, right? It's like, there's nothing that's done at a high level that the board is not aware of.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that can go from fundraising to people to, we moved in 5 years. This is our second round in our lease, but we got here in 2022. So like, I didn't just like move us and they didn't know. I don't just fundraise and they don't know.
Yeah.
But the board, yes, it can be a volunteer role. No, you probably shouldn't get paid if you're on a board as a board member. However, there are some positions where the board is structured to have the CEO is the CEO and president. And so depending on their bylaws, they may be voting member or not. And so that particular person might be the only person paid, but the remaining people probably wouldn't be paid.
How long did it take you when you came on board to look at the board, see what you needed, get the message across that, okay, this is what we need? How long do you think it took you to get to a point where you had a board where you're like, okay, this is the right amount of people and the right people?
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because yesterday I heard somebody say we were at an event and they said they had 25 board members.
That's a lot.
I was like, that's a lot of people. And like, in a sense, you're managing the board.
Yeah.
the board is managing you. It's an interesting nonprofit conundrum, right? They're your boss, but you're managing them. My board, 90% of them are full-time working professionals that are actively in their roles out in the community. So they don't have the time to be here during the day, during the week, right? But for the retired people, like I can engage them differently. It took me, I would say at least probably solid 2 years later, because I think like that whole like notion of 18 months to assess and figure out what you're doing, but people are going to roll off. And as people are rolling off, you're building out your strategy of what you want to achieve on the board. So we saw a lot of that change and growth between the second and third year of me being here, where now the dynamics of the board look very different. And I think very reflective of who we are. In that time frame, we brought on our first ever enlisted representation on the board.
Wow.
And currently today, he's the board chair.
Wow.
So like we were like, hey, like let's be very reflective of the people walking in the door.
Yes.
We don't have a rank restriction. We don't have a discharge status restriction. But I pull data all the time for things. And I'm like, well, primarily we're serving the E5, E6 community.
Yes.
With the next part being E7, E8.
Yep.
Right. And we do have senior officers and captains and, you know, various people that are, you know, high ranking, but I wanted somebody on the board that reflected that.
Yes, that's
and
important.
Then during that second and third year, we also brought in our first Marine Corps people. So we were like, wow, okay. So right now we have a retired colonel who is on the board. It's like if we want to work with the Marine Corps, I'm a Navy spouse. My knowledge is only going to go so far.
Exactly.
And I am not going to pretend I know. If you met me, you'll know. I'm like, I don't know anything about that. I will learn. I will be a sponge. But that's where I go back and I tap into that person. So I'm like, hey, well, what do you know? And they're like, oh, well, here's what I know. Or, hey, I don't know. But let me lead you to a person who would know, because I have to learn everything to serve all of the branches. So we wanted our board to be super reflective of who's walking in the store.
Now that brings me to the point of like, sometimes I look at boards and, you know, and you must have seen this as well. What would you say are some red flags as to the board not functioning the way it should?
I think if you are afraid to ask questions, if you're not getting your questions answered, I think if you are just bringing on people because you know them, it tends to then become not a professional setting. And what you're trying to do, like, I know for me, I can only speak for me. I tell my team, I tell my board, whether they want to hear it, whether they listen today, I will not be at 0800 forever, right? I don't know if they're immortal, but this just won't happen, right? So the idea is like, you know, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, I want this to still be around. I want to be admiring it. And I've said this before on, I think, a podcast, maybe funding it, right? I want to be a donor. So I want to make sure whatever we're setting up between myself, my staff, and the board is going to go into the future. I think if you start to have things where you don't know what's going on, you're not connected to the CEO or the executive director, you really don't understand the mission, you're bringing in your friends for board members, it's not reflective of the people you're serving, you're not bringing in expertise who are trying to take it to the next level, then you're probably going to see a little bit more dysfunction.
What would you say to those people that, you know, are, say, the president of the board, that, you know, that it's not functioning well? And have you come across a situation like that where you've had to go in and go, okay, guys, gals, you know, this is just not working very well? And how has that been received?
Well, I think like for 0800, I think we just evolved our board into, as people turned off and moved on into roles or moved away, because a few of them had moved away in that time frame, and some were on the board since the creation. It was just like time, right? So there wasn't like any challenges like that were happening. But I've served on boards and I have, you know, kind of consulted with people about boards where it can be challenging. And I think there has to be a moment where you say, like, is this working for all of us? You it doesn't mean if you step back, you're not supportive of them or don't want to see them succeed. It just might not be a good fit for you right now. But if it's not that and you want to stay, it's like, we got to just roll up our sleeves. Like, why did you join the board? What was the expertise you were going to bring in? Somebody had recently asked me, who was new to a board, like, what should my focus be? And I'm like, well, what did you come in for?
Yeah.
Right. And like, for me, if I come in and like I joined 365 Connect, I came in saying, I would love to help with your development efforts and your fundraising. So if I was in that moment, I would go, okay, well, this is what I came in for.
Yes.
So maybe I shouldn't try to help with the program directly or the financial side. Let me get back to the focus and see if others are feeling it. And if everybody was focused on the reason they came in and not all the other things, then maybe structure could be redesigned.
It's almost like you're saying, okay, stay in your lane as to, okay, this is your area of expertise, that it is needed.
And it's not to say you don't ask questions on the other sides, because you're intuitive, plus your opinion matters, especially if you're voting on something. But the work, the tangible work and support you give, if it can be hyper-focused in why you came in, then you could reel it back and get it structured out again.
Now, as this organization grew, the board, as you said earlier, had to evolve. You had to grow with the entity. How did you know? In fact, let me go back to before 0800.
Yeah.
What was your experience in the corporate world as a senior enlisted spouse? Because I want to know, how do you know the things you know? I mean,
I don't know. How about that? Podcast over. I think when I first joined this Navy lifestyle with my boyfriend, who then turned into my husband, and that's a whole other story, I didn't know anything. Like, I didn't know anything about the Navy. I didn't know anything. I was in healthcare.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't really get fully immersed in Navy until I started working for them in 2013. So I learned all the military stuff then. The nonprofit stuff didn't even come to be until 2016. So all of that time, I'm an adult. I'm working in healthcare. I'm moving all over the country. We moved a lot. I had a reset up. And everywhere I went, I just was a sponge.
Yeah.
I was genuinely a sponge. I just was like, I'm going to lie to these people. I'm going to tell them I'm staying forever. I'm going to learn everything I can, and I'm going to go to the next place. And I'm not mad about that. I'm not. Like, people would say, like, hey, well, are you upset that you might have told them that and you didn't mean it? No, because that's what I had to do. I think that's what gave me the knowledge to keep growing. When I got to San Diego, one of my friends was like, why don't you just work for the Navy? Haven't you had enough of that? My last job, I was watching open heart bypass surgery every day.
Really? Oh my gosh.
I was like, well, what am I going to do in the Navy? I was an administrator in a hospital, but like, I wasn't clinical, but my office had 2 windows and I watched that every day. And so I was like, well, this is probably easier. Choke was on me, but I was just like, compared to what I was doing. And so when I got that job, it was like, I applied for one job, I got it. And I became the ombudsman coordinator, and I worked for the Navy, and I was on every base and learned all the different communities outside of the one I knew, which was submarine duty. So for that first 14 years of my military spouse life, I just supported him going to sea, coming back, moving us, raising kids, him not around, raising kids, and thinking, all right, and I'll just have a career in between. And he always supported everything I did. But he didn't know anything about my stuff, and I didn't really know much about his, and I volunteered where I could. So then I got recruited to nonprofit, and I was like, absolutely not doing that. And the executive director at the time for the USO, he just was very persistent. And, I'm grateful for that, because I wouldn't really be here today without him. Because he kept coming to things I was at, and he was like, just give me a conversation. And like how wild that is for a military spouse to be recruited when I'm not even from here. And at the time, I think I lived here 4 years. So really, I shouldn't know anybody, especially the fact that I wasn't really immersed like that. And so eventually I went to the USO, and I was the center director, and I became the executive director. And I mean, I was just willing to do anything. So if you told me we're having a gala, roll up your sleeves, you're going to do all the different parts of it, I was like, I'm going to learn it all.
Yep.
Because it was so new to me because I came from healthcare.
Yes.
And then I was working for the Navy, which then is very different than nonprofit. But when people ask why I left, I'm like, there's more tangible solutions in nonprofit. I felt like there was more red tape with the government.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was like, I can provide solutions faster. I'm going to go try that. But the fundraising, the boards, all that stuff with USO on is where I learned everything I can learn. And it really is a testament to people because I've had incredible people saying, yes, you can.
Yes.
When
yes,
I'm the one saying, I'm not sure I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm smart enough for that. And they were like, no, like, let me take you under my wing. Let me show you the way. Let me send you to this class. Let me make you the lead of this. Like, let me give you the opportunity because they saw so much in me. And like, I'm grateful to those people. That's the only reason I have the advice I have, which if it's helpful, it's helpful. If it's not, it's my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's okay. What you're going to take what works for you. And you're going to take little pieces of what everybody says.
Now, I wrote down a whole list of questions and you seem to have answered quite a lot of them. So let me ask, I want to ask, when we've both sat on boards and, you know, I'll be the first one to admit I've sat on some boards where I've thought to myself, okay, I don't know what's going on here, people. And, you know, it's kind of stagnant. And the red flags to me have simply been, you know, board members have not turned up for board meetings. Somewhat of a lackadaisical approach. Those are the things that I've experienced. And so I've chosen to step away from a few because we're not moving forward, you know. Have you, and we're not going to name the boards, but you must, have you ever been on a board where you've just thought, okay, you know something, this is not working?
Yeah.
I've got to step down.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, yes, I wouldn't name those.
No, because that would just be crazy.
And it's not, there's no negative feeling towards any of those. It's now not the time for me to be a part of that, right?
Yes.
When I step down, once I get to that decision. But yes, I think there can be frustration when people aren't performing the same or they don't give the same time. I think it's sometimes on the executive director because it's our job to manage them. It's our job to also communicate with everybody where those individuals might be. Life happens, Surinder, right?
Yeah.
So board members are not exempt to that.
No.
And they might have challenges with their children, their household, their jobs, right? Their time, their extended family. Like, there's going to be reasons why people are out of pocket. But it's the executive director's job to make sure everybody's aware and that the communication is flowing with that so you can pull them back in.
Should every board have an executive director?
I think there should be.
Okay.
In my opinion, if you have a fully functioning, you're doing a 990, like you're not just sending in the postcard, you know, that you absolutely have a structure where there's somebody who's kind of reeling everybody in. And in a very small nonprofit, that person might also be the program lead. But it's probably the paid staff member. And to me, that person facilitates the communication so well that everybody knows, oh, well, this is why Surinder wasn't there. So that Ashley's not sitting around the table going, Surinder's never here. Right? Because if Surinder's having a challenge, like you should only have to tell one person.
That's it.
Otherwise, you know, maybe we can up communications with group chats and things like that. But honestly, like something big happens that's taking you away. You're probably sending that one quick note. Can't be there today. Right. But also in between board meetings, work is being done. I have projects going on with every one of my board members. We have communication all the time. They're active in that way. They're not physically here all the time. So if they can't make a board meeting because work, because I told you that my particular board is working individuals, you know how hard it is to schedule 3 people's calendars, let alone 10, 12, or 25 in that one person's case. So people are going to be absent, but somebody needs to report on what they've been doing. Now you're not going to feel like they're actually absent. So it can be a miscommunication and misunderstanding as well, but the executive director can kind of rally that.
What do you think separates a good board from a great board?
I think it's the support back into leadership and the staff, right? That's what really separates it, because you can have tangible skills and they can be really good and you can get stuff done. You can be a little disruptive too. And I think what makes it great is when that executive director and that team knows that the board supports them and the mission. But if they're just in it to have the check in the box, you're going to feel the disconnect.
Yeah.
And it might be good, but it's not going to be great.
Yeah. Now, if someone is listening and they want to start a nonprofit tomorrow, what do you think are the first 3 things that they should be assembling?
I would love for you to look how quick I want to answer
I know.
I want you to recognize first and foremost that, from my understanding, there's thousands, I don't know what the exact number is these days, thousands of registered nonprofits in San Diego. So take a look at, what does your mission bring to the table? What problem is it solving? Right? Because quite frankly, I think nonprofits are here to get themselves out of business, right? Like, if you have a mission and you're fulfilling a need, you shouldn't be doing it forever. Right. However, life happens and that's just not a thing. So it's like, what are you solving? That's number one. Who can be on your board? Right. You at least need a secretary and a leader. Right. So you have to find somebody who's second to you that is going to be your equal in a sense to help bring it up, because it is gritty work. It's not for the faint. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of commitment. And I think really understanding like who you're serving and like what that mission design is going to really look like. You know, are you looking to, you know, do something that is short term and, you know, not as intense as what is needed? Like, I think the mission really matters. Like, you gotta really have a firmed out mission before you can probably even find that second person.
Should your mission evolve or change as you grow the board, or the entity, or do you think that your mission statement should stay, that's my mission statement?
No, I think your mission statement can change. Because you want to evolve. You don't want to change it all the time. I don't think you should mission drift.
Yes, you mentioned that term earlier.
Because you've got to go back to that last question where it's like, what gap are you filling? What problem are you solving? And if you have that, that should be a part of your mission statement. So if you change that, are you mission drifting? Right?
Yes,
you don't want to mission drift for money. You don't want to mission drift for board members. You don't want to mission drift just to exist.
No.
Right?
No.
You want to stay true to your mission. I'm very inspired by the fact that 0800 was built by all those people and it has not mission drifted. I think that's very unique. What it is. But the mission statement has changed to reflect what the work is, because maybe like when I first came in, the mission statement was like, it's too long. If I want my team to be able to recite it, it's too long. So it's like, let's shorten it up. So then we did exercises about it, but it never went outside of what the mission is. So it didn't look like we were mission drifting.
That's a really good point you bring up, because I do notice, and yes, San Diego, I think I read recently that San Diego has more nonprofits than any other city, even East Coast. Because we're so, and I think
you're a spouse. You've lived how many places? Like, this is the most nonprofit land I've ever been stationed.
I know. And the thing that sometimes concerns me about San Diego is that for raising money in San Diego, fundraising can be difficult because everybody's going after the same people, and, you know, deep pockets are only deep for so long.
Right.
So it really does concern me sometimes, the longevity of some of the new boards that have come into existence, because they're all trying to fundraise. And it's crazy. I mean, we both go to some of the same meetings. I see the same people.
How many times do I see you a month?
You probably see me.
Sorry, not sorry. I don't know.
You probably see me more than my husband.
The first week of the month, I'm like, it's so nice to see you. I just saw you last week, the last part of the month.
Yeah, are you going to this event? Yes, I know.
I think you're so true. There's so many that pop up.
Mm-hmm.
And, 0800 is in its 11th year.
Wow, I did not know that.
It's not that old, but it's not that young.
Yeah.
Right? We're able to say we're evidence-based. It's 10 plus years. Like, that feels good. But in the beginning, the 200 plus people were a collection of people who could help get it to the 11th year.
Yeah.
That matters.
Absolutely.
So when you're starting a nonprofit, it's like, who is supporting this? Right? Who sees and believes in this very need that you said is there? Because we all have something about us when we get into nonprofit where it's like, we want to help the people.
Yes.
But could that be served better in an existing nonprofit as a program? And you support that program. And they support you.
That makes sense, actually. I also think that that's much more effective than setting up your own nonprofit. What's one lesson you wish that every nonprofit founder understood before filing their paperwork?
The work that's ahead.
Yeah.
I think this is like, for me, I think sometimes people come in here who've never been in here and they're like, oh, this is like a real business. And I'm like, well, what did you think it was? And they see, the office spaces and the people coming in and out and the phones ringing, and like, they see the structure of business. But what lies ahead is that if you are building a nonprofit from the startup, you're not even there yet with staff and insurance and all of the things that it takes to be a fully viable business that can go long term. So I think, maybe my advice is like learning what that could look like and go get mentored by some people who have that on their shoulders so that you understand what you're walking into. Because it's like the chief spouse group, it starts with like, oh, we just need to. We even said it in the beginning, we need more senior enlisted spouses who are supporting each other, but also the community and is representative.
Yes.
But we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. And we look back and it was time missed with our family, hard work, putting our brains to so much work that it was exhausted, but like, what's ahead? I wish they knew what was ahead. And I think you can know that by really, truly asking the right questions to people who are running them every day.
Now, I've got one big question for you, right? Before we wrap this up. I mean, when you look at nonprofits that have been around for 10 or 20 years versus those that have struggled and disappeared, what was the big difference between their boards, would you say?
I mean, I don't want to say I would know what the problem exactly was with nonprofits, but maybe collectively they didn't understand what it would take to be a business, right? Because I think we say the word nonprofit, which maybe lessens that you're a business owner.
Yes, it does sometimes, I think, to some people.
It's like this other word. It's like, no, you're still a business owner. So if a board comes in, you're supporting a business.
Yes.
Probably a small business at first, but you're supporting a business and it can grow into these big ones. It's going to take a long time. It's not going to be overnight. So they're going to need your help in a different way than that same board 5 years later.
Yeah.
And like that evolution of the board really has to be present of mind.
I 100% agree with you, because again, I've sat on boards where it's like, okay, yes, we're a non-profit, and yes, our goal, our mission is to help this demographic here. But unless we run this as a business, we can't help those people.
Like nonprofits, to me, are even more transparent, right? Your tax returns, everything you do is being analyzed on public display, right? Because you're a public charity, and it should be, right?
And you get rated for it, don't you?
And you get all kinds of ratings, and you have to do that work to get the rating. That just doesn't appear. You have to upload the things that you're supposed to do. But I think sometimes we just use that word and we dismiss that it's a business, and it really, truly is.
Yes.
I mean, that's the reality.
And the other thing I found recently is a friend of a friend set up a non-profit. Not in San Diego. I was like, thank God.
Don't need another one.
But they set up a non-profit and they did it. And, LegalZoom's going to not be happy about this, but they set it up on LegalZoom and they had no issue setting up the non-profit.
Right.
However, again, going back to doing your homework and realizing that this is work. It's not just filing the paperwork out online to get that little status.
Yeah.
And I understand the concept behind it is to make it easy for people to set these things up. But I almost felt that in this person's situation, what they should have done, they should have had to check a box or something that said, do you understand? And if you
Is
couldn't...
this your final answer?
Yeah. If you could not understand, you should not have been filing for it.
But I mean, common, I want to be benefit of the doubt. We don't always know what we're walking into.
No.
Right?
That is
so
true.
As long as you're willing to do the work, you probably will lead it to success.
Yeah. Hey,
it just might be slower.
I'm going to tell her right now, you know who I'm talking about. So you need to make sure you put the work in now because you've paid for it. You've paid for the filing.
Right.
And
it doesn't mean it won't slow down.
Yeah.
Sometimes it will ebb and flow.
Yeah.
Because you do have to start setting up everything and then the work can begin.
Yes.
But that too, sometimes we begin the work and then we try to set it up and that can make things a little bit unbalanced.
I mean, I'm all about baptism by fire. When I open the coffee carts, I mean, I didn't know anything, but you figure it out as you're going along kind of thing. And to your point, as long as you realize there is work involved in it.
But you were so committed.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Right? Like I talk to a lot of nonprofit people or people who want to be in nonprofit. And they're like, well, you can do it, so I can do it. And I'm like, I'm not sure you know how much I do and commit to this.
Yes.
Right? This is not a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I never shut the mission off in my head. I always am thinking about what I could be doing. If I've missed an email or a meeting, or I critique myself for days, I want what's best here because everybody in here is depending on me. Most importantly, the people being served.
How do you, with everything that you're doing, how do you find that work-life balance? Because I freely admit I suck at it.
We struggle. I suck at it too.
Yeah.
Did I just say that online?
I'm glad I've met somebody who sucks at it as well.
I think first I have the most supportive husband, possibly because he supported me or I supported him. He's supporting me.
Yeah.
Right. He retired. He's like, it's your turn. Yeah. I got your back. He wasn't retired when I got into this nonprofit space. I was all in. But now I look back, my kids are well into their adulthood. I missed huge parts of their life. There's things I'm like, I don't think I went to that. And then I kind of feel bad. Yeah. Now I try to recognize that I don't physically have to be in this space all day, every day. Like if I'm not doing a meeting, like some part of my job, maybe I can finish the day early at home, right? Because I need to be at home. I need to see my husband, right?
Yes,
I will say on camera, I love my husband more than 0800. I think that's fair. Yeah. But he's my biggest fan, and he'll do anything with me. He'll be a +1 when I absolutely want him to be. He'll go places, but I also need to find the balance to be at home, to be a wife, to be a mom. Yep. And it's fair to say my schedule might not be 9 to 5 and I might work 24 hours a day, but I balance it the way that works for me, which is different for you. And that's what people need to recognize. We can be really hard on ourselves that like, oh, well, as your team's here and you're out doing the work and then you have a pocket of time where you could go home, you feel guilty. Yes. You're like, I don't have to feel guilty. Yeah. I can own that I need to have balance. It's going to be so much better when I come back tomorrow.
Yeah, I have been trying that balance thing. And sometimes, we've bumped into each other in the hallway and I'm like, hey, I'm your wife. And he's like, I'm your husband. But, like you, I think it comes in, it's waves and dips. Like some days, I've got, time. And it sounds awful because, baby, I love you too.
See, that was both of us on camera telling them.
I know. And like your husband, my husband's like, hey, I've done my 30. This is about you. You start your thing. I'm supportive. But I'm also very aware that even though he's done his time, he's now, he's still working, but he's working from home sometimes. I feel a little element of guilt that, okay, he's at home, I'm not at home. And even though he said this is your time, sometimes I ever really wondered if it is 100%. And the answer for me is no, it's not, because I still have a 17-year-old at home, so it's just, somehow trying to find that balance of keeping everybody happy.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And then you also can be stressed when you get there.
Yes.
And you don't want to be so stressed that you get there that messes home life up. And you also don't want to take out any of your stress on your family.
Yes.
But anybody who's a business owner knows it's hard to run a business.
Yeah.
So nonprofits are no different. I was at an event, short story. I forget what the exact question was, but it was like balance of some sort. And I raised my hand and said, one of the things I do is I don't keep my work email on my phone.
Oh, I like that.
And let me tell you, the response in the room by like the 100 people that were there were like, oh.
No, I like that.
And I was just like, I know it's intentional to have to pull over on the side of the road, get my laptop out, connect to my hotspot, and take that meeting if I'm running late. I also know when I'm sitting on a Saturday afternoon and I'm at dinner with my husband that I'd like to be engaged in that conversation.
Yes.
So to me, it's balance. So when they kind of, sighed and were like, and one girl, I think she yelled out, she was like, I could never. And I was like, you could.
Yeah.
And I said, well, like I said a few minutes ago, like I realized in that moment, like I love my husband more than my job.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I do it. It does not mean that's not hard or difficult.
No.
But I've done that now for about 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And it's giving me more intentional balance than I realized.
Yeah.
It also doesn't mean I don't carry my work bag around with that laptop connected to me. But I have to be intentional about checking it.
Yeah.
And if I'm just sitting on the couch and I'm trying to actually not think of work, if my phone goes off, then I will.
Yes.
And I don't. Yes, they're paying me, I guess, 24/7 to be here. The military essentially pays that person 24/7, but really no job is paying you to be on 24/7 except for the military.
I agree with you because like we're still old school that phones aren't at the dinner table.
Right.
If I'm doing something with my husband, I will silence my phone. And to be honest, in the beginning it was very difficult because I could, feel it vibrate or whatever. I refuse to get an Apple Watch because I refuse to go, hello, how are you? I'm not doing that because
and
then
I love the silence button. The do not disturb is my favorite thing.
Yes. Once I discovered that on my Apple phone, I was like, I love this. I haven't sent an email, I think, for the past 5 days. And I can't say I've missed it. A little bit of me is like, okay, I need to know what's going on. But it's not been that dire that I feel like I've missed out on something, you know. Now, before we wrap it up, there's one thing I want you to let everybody know what 0800 does, how they can connect with you as well.
Yeah. So 0800 is a social work case management model that addresses military transition. It is essentially looking to help people with workforce development, basic needs, education, as well as suicide prevention and post-pension services. So they're all social workers or social workers in training. And the model is very intentional to be not a one and done and a long-term service so that, military can thrive in their veteran life cycle.
Now, I was surprised, like when I first came to see you, that your programs here, like you said, it's not a one and done. Social workers will follow up with that person for up to a year or maybe more than a year just to make sure, hey, everything is good. That's the uniqueness I found about your programs.
I think it's a bit of an undertaking to have case management services because they're longer term. So I think that does strengthen what we do. But it depends on the client. Depends on who we're working with. If you're working with somebody on workforce development goals, that might be shorter term. Doesn't mean it's fast. It just might only be, 3, 6, 9 months. You're working with somebody in suicide prevention or post-pension services, that could be longer, depending on what the needs are. So the case managers are equipped, trained, credentialed to approach all of those things in a really effective way. We monitor everything we do. We have third-party evaluators who track what we do. They do a yearly kind of comprehensive report on what we've done. It's not just us saying we did a good job. We actually pay for that service to be able to come into our data and connect with our clients to make sure that we're doing a good job. We track the impact and what happens. And with those third-party evaluators and our team, we also check in with them after they graduate us.
I love that.
So they can stay in an alumni program. We can do check-ins with them. Or we're going to connect with them a year later, 3 years later. And now we have this fun idea because we're so old now that we can go back to some of the original clients and be able to say like, hey, where are you? It's interesting because some of them are in the community and they're like, oh, I use 0800. Or we'll get, the fun nonprofit fact, like we'll get a check in the mail and I'll call this donor and be like, how did you hear of us? And they're like, oh, you served my son a few years ago.
Wow.
And we just wanted to support the next people that you're serving. So it's interesting to be now 10 plus years in the community to see the impact long term, but we don't go in and just say like, hey, this is working and here's why. We pull in the third-party evaluators who can really put that stamp on there.
How do people get in touch with you?
You can visit us at 0800.org. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not a Facebook, any other kind of platform kind of person, but if you want to connect directly with me, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm sure this might be posted on there. And then, of course, you can, like I said, go on 0800.org and just connect in any which way. You can connect with our board members. We directly link them out to their LinkedIn.
I like that.
But you don't have to reach out to me. You can reach out to any of them.
Ashley, it has been great talking with you today. And again, as we both are in and around San Diego, I mean, this has become known as, if you're transitioning out, 0800. It's automatic now. That's what people think about. And it's all down to the hard work and the commitment of yourself and, your folks around here. So I want to say thank you very much for your time today. And at some point, I'd love to be able to come back and talk to some of your testimonials.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you for coming in and for supporting that. I love hearing that, we're a name out there.
Yes.
It's a testament to what people are doing in here. So I'm just grateful that I can support it.
Absolutely. Listen, my name's Surinder. I've been your host. This is lovely Ashley Camac from 0800. This is The Goode Show, and we're out.
Thanks for tuning in to The Goode Show. If you loved what you heard, follow me on Instagram @The Goode Show.